So going in with the wrong mindset to begin with. And then the second thing is understanding that, like you said, that we are in a whole different time and we're in a modern marriage. Therefore, you have to be very specific in how you want it to look, roles. You can't just go in and not have these discussions anymore, because the roles that you used to have in the 50s, people kind of already know. Well, if you're not laying it out, we go in there with an expectation, but it's different than the other person's, and we never had that conversation. It's going to require so much more intentionality now, and far more discussions and laying it out, and knowing that this is, complacency. Just, I'm sorry, that's not going to work anymore. So in one aspect, marriage, I think, has gotten more difficult, in that regard for men, because they didn't have to do that kind of work
Mm.
in the past. They just went to work and they came home and got their hot meal and all that. So, but now it's like, oh, well, woman's working too. Okay, you get that benefit, but now you're gonna have to make up for it over on this side. So, you can't expect it that you get all the cake and eat it too. That's just not how marriage is going to be
I
moving forward.
mean, I say this as a pretty big pro man, put out a lot of man material and everything else. Guys, if we can't talk about this openly, then we're not being honest with ourselves. The relationship marriage template for many, many years was such that that woman, that grandma that was there for 60 plus years, was there simply because she had no option then to be there. Sorry, that's
Yep.
tough for a lot of guys to hear because that makes the man seem like a monster or whatever. But no, that was the relationship template for many years. Grandma had no choice. She did not have an
Right.
education. She did not have a big career. If suddenly Grandpa said, "Beat it, you're out of here," she was on the street and she ostracized by her community and everything else. Some very misogynistic types say, yeah, the good old days where we kept women in line, so to speak, and all that other good stuff. No, I try to look at it, try to empathize with the women in that case. They wanted to build a better, more independent life for themselves. So yes, we want to focus on career. I don't want to depend on a man for my well-being. What if he runs off with his secretary at work and leaves me high and dry? I got to protect myself. I would do the same. But with that new paradigm shift comes a lot of growing pains, and that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I agree.